guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you a step-by-step tutorial of how to get a job. I've been hearing many concerns about my viewers potentially being unemployed, and I want to fix that problem for you. So, okay, I'm going to play a Sparky Witch deck. Sparky Giant Witch, whatever. So, I'm going to take you through the process all the way from your resume, through the interview process, and the post-interview contact. So, first things first, for most jobs, your GPA from college does matter. I know that there's a whole movement going on nowadays where students are trying to say GPA doesn't matter. I'm going to say for most jobs it does matter. There will be exceptions for this, as there's exceptions for every rule almost. But if you're still in college and you have the opportunity to improve your GPA, do that, okay? Do not negate your GPA. However, if you're already out of college, that's already donezo, or maybe you already have a good GPA and that's not a worry for you, then perfect. Ability, oh hell yeah. So this is coming from someone who is in fact employed. The shock, Clash Julia is employed. I would have never guessed. I am employed technically. It's a little bit different for law school. I don't work during the school year, and then you get your job offer for the summer. So I do have my job offer for my summer, and it happened to be my dream job. So this is the application process for law students is a little bit different because you do get hired through your summer associate position. Sorry guys. Anyways, so I'm going to give you advice for a generalization though, not just for law students. If this is Expo, I'm quitting and you guys are all going to remain unemployed till the day you die because I hate Expo. Okay. First things first, your resume matters. Don't have it formatted with like your photo there, a bunch of different fonts, crazy colors. It's supposed to look professional, and sometimes professional equals boring. If I can find a template that works, I will link it below, resume template, and you fill in your information. Make sure you keep the formatting good, like don't be messing up the line spacing, anything like that. Okay, mortar, that's fine, I guess. And I will insert a photo somewhere of an ideal resume in my opinion. I also think that a lot of career services for schools are not good. And this was just, honestly, I'm not going to say that too broadly because I'm sure some are good. The one from my undergrad was not good. I literally tried to contact them and they were low-key incompetent. However, hopefully your school has better career services than mine did. Okay, I'm going to spark you on the side. So again, your resume should look kind of boring. And I will say too, when you put your previous employment, if you worked at XYZ firm, XYZ hospital, whatever, and then you put like 3 to 4 bullets of what you have done in that job, you want to start the first word and have it end with ED. So handled, scheduled, organized, whatever. That's just like a quick tip for your resume. So, okay. This is going to be difficult to get some damage here. We technically are winning, but not by much. So now you have your resume. You also want a cover letter. I used to think, oh my God, a cover letter is going to be so much work. You have to make one for each job, whatever. That's not true. You want to, yes, curate your cover letter to every job that you're applying to, but you can make it, talk about your experience and everything like that. You don't have to edit that for every job. Like you're just editing that little part where you're talking about the job, why you want to work there, or not even really talking about why you want to work there in your cover letter. But you know what I mean. Whatever's specific to that job, that's what you're editing in each cover letter. You don't need to change the entire thing for each job. Don't do that actually, because you're more likely to have mistakes. Perfect one cover letter and go with that. And just adjust as needed. So if I can find a cover letter template, I will attach that as well. This isn't going well. So, crap. Frick. Okay. So anyways, guys, now that you have your resume and your cover letter, you want to apply to jobs. Start freaking applying to as many jobs as possible. Honestly, that is what I've heard about today's job market because, and when I say a lot, I mean hundreds. I'm not talking about like, oh, I applied to 20 jobs, so that's like enough. No. 20 jobs is not enough for today's job market. Unfortunately, I wish it was. I'm talking about hundreds of positions. And don't limit yourself. If you see your dream job and it's in Chicago, but you live in California, and you would totally be willing to move to Chicago, then apply to that job in Chicago. If you're not willing to move, don't apply. But it can't hurt to apply. Even if you end up saying, you know what, I don't want to work here, then you don't have to accept the interview. You don't have to accept the position if they give you an offer. But when you have interviews, each interview is more and more practice. And so the mistakes that you make in one interview, you're not going to make in the next one. So even if you get denied, you see that interview as practice. So, okay, let's say your resume and your cover letter are perfect and you get some interview invitations. First of all, you accept the interview invitations. And, okay, I really can't break through here. And you want to research the place that you're applying to in depth. Okay, I'm not talking about the general of like, oh, I'm going to work in the Delaware office location. No. You want specifics about the company, specifics about the practice area that you're going to go into. And if you know what person is interviewing me, freaking stalk them down. I'm not talking about find out where they live or anything like that, but you want to look at their LinkedIn, look at the blurb about them on the company website and everything, and figure out where they went to school, how long they've been at the company, where they worked previously, what practice area they're in, whatever. And if you can find something that you can relate to or ask about in the interview, then that's ideal. Potentially a charity that they're really involved in or something outside of work that they're really involved in that you might be able to connect with them on. That is like A-tier material, and you're going to mention that at the end of the interview when they say, do you have any questions, whatever. So, and you can just say, oh, I saw on your LinkedIn that you're really heavily involved in XYZ charity, whatever. So they're not going to think you're creepy, I promise you, okay? They are going to appreciate the fact that you've done some research about them and the company. Now, obviously, if you don't know what interviewer you're going to have, that's not possible, and you just want to continue researching the company as you normally would. So go into the interview prepared. The more you know about the company, I don't think that's going to be in the radius, so I'm just going to leave that there. But the more you know about the company, the more comfortable you're going to feel in the interview, because when they ask you questions, you're going to know how to curate your answers to what the company is looking for, what they want in whatever, like if you're applying to be a summer associate, what the qualities they want in a summer associate, whatever. That was a horrible play on my part, and I don't know what to do. We might be losing this battle. So let me lock in on the job advice. So anyway, you're going through your interview, you've researched the company, you're a genius about the company, and you know a lot about the recruiter. So if they ask you a question that you're not prepared for, first of all, you want to prepare for the standard questions. Why do you want to work here? Why do you want to work in this practice area? That's going to be asked. Prepare for it beforehand. And if they ask you a question that you're not really prepared for, is that going to snatch that over? Fuck! It didn't. You can say, oh, that was a really good question. Let me think about that for a second. And take a few seconds. I'm not talking about 3 minutes or anything here where you're just sitting in silence, but take a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds, and think about your answer if you're not prepared for that question. And that's okay, all right? Fuck. Anyways, so you want to answer your questions as best as possible. If you're not prepared, try and think about it for a second and curate your answer. Now, at the end of the interview, when they're always going to say, do you have any questions for me? You do not say no, okay? You say yes. You have those questions prepared. You're going into the interview with 5 questions on potentially written down in case you need to like look quickly at your note. I'm not talking about read off a notepad or anything like that, but like you are having 5 questions written down. Ooh. I don't think I can win still. But anyways, that you're going to ask at the end of the interview. This is where you ask the question about the recruiter, if you found something about them on their LinkedIn, or if you didn't weren't able to research them or anything like that. You're asking questions about the position or the company or whatever. And when they answer the question, afterwards, you want to have some sort of response. Don't just be like, great, and then move on to your next question. That does happen sometimes when you just can't think of an intelligent response. You're like, fuck, I'm kind of you're nervous, whatever. It's understandable. It's happened to me. It's probably happened to everyone. It's not the end of the world. I've still gotten callbacks and offers from firms that I did that with where I was like, crap, they answered the question. Now I don't know, like, I'm nervous. I don't know what to say. It's fine. But if you can have some sort of response that like goes off of that, and then lead into your next question, that would be ideal. So anyways, you go through the interview process, and now you are going to send them a thank you email the next day. And this, hopefully, oh crap, this is going to be like a few sentences. It's not going to be super long or anything like that. And thank them for taking the time to interview you. And again, express your interest in working for that company. And in the email, make it personalized to the conversation you have with them. Don't have it one that could work for any firm that you interviewed with. Like, say, I really enjoyed our conversation about blank, or I really liked learning more about blank, something that happened in that interview. If you're doing a lot of interviews, like one day I had 7, it was OCI, so it was like kind of crazy. But if you're having a lot of interviews, oh crap, sorry guys, that was actually the worst move ever. I thought I was already on the tower. Then write down right after the interview like some key points of what you guys discussed, so that when you're writing your thank you email, you can like refer back to those notes. So anyways, after the thank you email, hopefully they'll reach out to you either for a callback or an offer, depending on how long the process is for that sort of job. But you don't really need to reach out again. I was kind of told, like, listen, you're going to get denied from places. It's inevitable, especially when you're applying to hundreds of places. You're going to get denials, and that's okay. Now, if you receive multiple offers, here's what you do for that. Or if you receive an offer and they give you a week to respond if you're going to take the job or not, but you've interviewed with another company that you would really like to work for, and you're like, crap, well, they haven't given me an offer yet. Like, I don't want to accept this position if I could potentially work there. You can email the original recruiter from the company that you want to work for and tell them about your offer. Say that you have received an offer from somewhere, but again, reiterate your interest in the company. But I would really like to work, at XYZ, and I think I would be a good fit. And please let me know if there's any, if you have any questions or whatever. And so this lets them know, like, hey, there's a little bit of a deadline here. Although I would like to work for you, I've received another offer and I have to get back to them by the end of the week or whatever. So that's what you should do if you are waiting to hear back from a firm or, whatever. I keep saying firm, but a company while you have already received an offer. So anyways, this was kind of like the general overview of advice, and it worked for me. So what can I say? I don't know. I mean, I'm no expert or anything, but I am employed. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Again, I'm no expert, but this is just my general advice. And thanks for watching, and goodbye.